Hello there, Inside Real Estate folks, Conversion Plus users. This is Annalisa, and I am going to show the Conversion Plus users how to locate our shared library of drip campaigns, where you can go about to copy a campaign and how to do that, and then where to locate the copy and affect editing changes. So on the K Plus agent dashboard, the first thing I'm going to do is just go up into this little master search. I call this the Save Your Bacon search because basically it's a search you can put in a name, email, phone number, MLS number, part of an address, and we pull content from your dashboard and the MLS for matching results. So in this case, I want to find the default drip campaigns. So the easiest way to do that is to basically type default in up here and click the magnifying glass. And that takes us to a search result. Now, initially, it's going to come up with leads as the default tab it opens up, and it's saying, hey, there are no results with the name default as a lead. So it's good to realize that the drip campaigns live on the shared emails tab. So you're just going to pop over and click on shared emails. And this is where you'll find all of the campaigns of which we have created, which are going to be the conversion default for buyers and conversion seller default for sellers, as well as all of the drip campaigns your fellow users of K Plus have created and shared with everyone. So you have access to actually search for different types of campaigns, see if they fit the target or niche campaign of which you're seeking, or are there pieces of it that you want to pull in, and copy and utilize. So you have access to all of these. So for instance, if you were reading like the conversion default and you're like, I really like this campaign. I know that Conversion spent, a good 18 months putting these together, testing them and so forth, but I kind of want to edit this to give it a little more of me and what I can offer that clientele. So, you're putting that little with them of what's in it for me to that consumer. You are introducing yourself a little softly to soften up the message a little bit. Now, one thing I will recommend when you're editing any type of drip campaign that we've created, again, just know we've put these through a pretty rigorous testing process. So we really encourage you to stick with a similar format of trying to keep it short and sweet and be engaging, because you're always going to be asking for that give and take of starting a conversation or continuing a conversation. So make sure you're asking a question to get a response to come back, because this is all about getting a conversation rolling. So another thing you can see when you're looking here before we make a copy is you can actually click on each day and you can see what's going out and how. So on day 1, this is going out as a text. Now, the neat thing about K Plus is if the lead does not have a phone number attached to it, we convert it to an email, so it still goes. So if we didn't have a phone number for this person that this drip got attached to, we would go ahead and convert that first day 1 drip to an email. All right, so another thing you can do when you're searching is that maybe you're looking for a alternate language drip. You can type in Spanish, and you'll find some people have actually translated the Spanish default for conversion, which is pretty neat and pretty handy. Maybe first-time home buyers, first time in there, and peruse the different types of drip campaigns other people have created. Now, one thing to be aware of if you do download someone else's is, say, look here, like for this first-time home buyer, this was created by Amy Cooper, and she's an agent with Realty Central. So when you download these drip campaigns to use them, it's super, super important that you edit someone else's information out. If you just download it and put it in place while you're sending everybody to your site to look at property, but the drip is going to read like it's coming from someone who's not even related to you. So always make sure that if you're going to use someone else's drip campaign, to double check it, make sure it has your information in it instead of theirs. All right. Now, if you wanted to use this campaign or any of them in here, you just simply click on Use This Campaign. And this little pop-up happens, and it's saying, okay, we need you to rename this campaign because you're bringing a copy of it into your dashboard. So myself, I'm just going to name it Example at the end. You can find it pretty easily. So I'm going to click OK, and the system's actually going to nab a whole copy of this entire drip, and it's going to drop it into my settings page on my dashboard. And you can reach settings by clicking on your name here on the upper right, and then my settings. And we'll go back and pull this drip in a second. I just want to make sure you're clear on where this lands. So when I change it up, you're like, wait, what happened? Where'd it go? So drip campaigns live at the very bottom of my settings. So if we scroll down, any drip you create by hand or import is going to live within current drip emails and texts here at the bottom. Now, if you pop in here today and you're like, hey, I don't have anything here, well, that just means you haven't created a drip on your own or downloaded or made a copy of one yet. So nothing's wrong if you don't see something here. It's just something you have the ability to create a drip or edit a drip to make it more your own. Now, going back to search that default here, at the top left, shared emails. You know, if we wanted to bring a drip campaign in, we just click use this campaign, and then we have to rename it. And if I could spell my own name right, that'd probably be a good idea, right? And then you just click OK, and the system quickly grabs that drip and drops it onto my settings and pops you down to the bottom of that page. So now if we scroll down a little bit, we can see this is the drip campaign that I just imported. Now, some key indicators here to look at initially is you have the ability to share or not share this campaign with the whole of K+ users, just depending on, if you want to make it private or confidential or share with the rest of the gang. You can also set up drip campaigns to trigger on a hashtag. So if I was creating a call to action perhaps for first-time homebuyers or FHA information or people who went to an open house or looking for something with pools, I could create a campaign that would launch off FHA or first-time home buyer or open house. So every time you create a landing page or a squeeze page with that tag attached and that new lead lands, it can trigger a drip campaign, which is pretty cool. Now, this first section is new lead initial text. So when you get that new lead from K+, like we call you and we say, hey, you've got a new lead, press 1, and then we attempt to connect you with the lead. Or you press 2, and you have the ability to accept the lead and launch a default text welcome. So if you enter in content here, this is going to supersede the initial broker welcome text of which they have set up on the admin dashboard. So this is especially handy if you're setting up some type of targeted or niche type of campaign. The same goes for the welcome email. This will supersede the K+ default that we send out that's tied to that data validation. So within the first 15 minutes of you getting that lead, we have the data validation that, pops out into the interwebs and tries to pull in information for you that might be handy, like a name, phone number, alternate name, perhaps their links to different social medias of which you could try to follow up with someone on. So you can actually supersede the welcome that we have as a default with your subject and body here. Now, moving into the subject and body of the drip itself, which is this section here down, you can actually edit any of this very, very handily and very easily. So all you need to do to edit any of these sections is click into the box, click into that field, and you'll see here it's outlined in blue. So that means we're actively editing this screen. I can add in content here. And to save this information, I click outside of the box. So there's no save button over here. You'll notice there's only a ditch it, right? Delete it. So to save this action, you click outside of the box. And then the page refreshes. And we should get popped back down to the bottom. And you'll see it's grayed out saying, hey, yep, I have saved the change. So if I wanted to go in here and remove add in content, I click in. You can see it's outlined in blue again. I get rid of that information. I click outside to save it. Now, within this, you can also adjust the days of which it's going. Now, the drip campaigns within K Plus are a single action per day. So you could say, I want to send on day 1 this information via text message or via email to the contact. Now, let's say also on day 3, we're asking them, hey, are they a property owner? They can get an instant valuation. And the way our campaigns are set up, if you make a copy of ours, this information here will actually send them to your domain of which to get evaluation immediately. So it's an automatic variable you can drop if it drops in to send that information to them. Now, maybe on day 4, you want to set up a reminder to yourself for a specific action you need to follow up on that's part of your checkoff process of, scrubbing that lead, making sure you're following up and so forth. So we already have messages going to the contact on 1, 3, and 5, and we want to set something up for ourselves on day 4. So we can actually add information into a drip if we just scroll up into this Add Drip Emails Texts. From here, we choose the drip of which we want to edit. And then we choose the day that we want it to hit. And then we choose a method for sending. So we know this isn't going to the lead, so we can also choose to send something to ourselves as a reminder. So this could be an email to ourselves, a text, schedule a call, and a webhook that could trigger a third-party action via Zapier to like a postcard or some type of trigger for a Sly broadcast voicemail or something. And we just had a really great class on webhooks yesterday that I'll make sure and link in a comment below this once we complete here. So let's say I want to email myself a reminder, and I want to put a subject in like, call, do they have a lender? And then a little note to yourself could be like, are they pre-queue? So these are things you can add into yourself to make sure you're keeping on track of making those contacts out. So when I click Add Email, the page will update and drop that content into that drip. So now we can see we've got day 1, a text message going to the lead, day 3, an email going to the lead, and day 4, an email going to me, the agent, to remind me of a specific task. Now, with these campaigns, if you are going to be creating your own default campaign for buyers or sellers, and you want this to hit on all contacts moving forward, it's really important that you scroll up into the initial part of My Settings. So this section here, Update Your Settings, at the very top. If you scroll down about 2/3 in this section, you'll find that you can actually say, well, this is my new lead drip campaign. I want this one to hit. And you can also create campaigns to trigger for active leads, sphere, client, closed. Now, if you want to create a drip campaign, it's super, super easy. So let's say you just logged into the system. You're looking at your dashboard. And you're like, hey, I need to make a lead for a specific target. So you just click on your name, upper right, click My Settings. Scroll to just about the bottom, just above where those drip campaigns live. And it says Add a New Drip Campaign. So this time we're creating a campaign. So maybe I'm doing something to target first-time homebuyers. And I'll just name it, and then I can determine if I want to share it with everyone so they can pull from my expertise or possibly use it and collaborate. Or I could say, nope, all mine, either way. And then I can say I want this to trigger when my hashtag of first-time homebuyer lands via squeeze page, maybe it's via a landing page, what have you. And then I click Add Campaign. And what the system's going to do is it's going to give us the initial part of this campaign so we can start building content into it via this tool here on the left. So I click to create the campaign, add the campaign, and now we'll scroll down a little bit. And we'll look at that example. Eventually, we're going to keep scrolling. Here we go. So we have first-time home buyers Annalisa, and you'll see it only has these two pieces of the new lead initial text and the welcome email. So these are pieces of which you can utilize anytime you create a new drip campaign or edit one by making a copy. Now, to add content below into the subject, body, send on method, etc., we just scroll up to this add drip emails and texts, choose the drip of which we want to start building content. And we can see on day one, I want to send a text message, whatever it is that your message might be here. And the neat thing about this is you have these variables of which are available for you to drop in to your messages. So you could say, hi, first name. So you can, either type it in or copy it. This is, and then you could be like hashtag agent name. And this information will pull your information directly off of your dashboard of the personalized lead information and the contact information for you, the agent, which is pretty neat. And then when you're done adding this content, you just click add email. Page will update. And if we scroll back down, we'll be able to see we have that first touch now added to this particular campaign. Now, just as a reminder, if you want to switch campaigns on a particular contact, let me go up to my leads here and find one real quick. So let's say you talk with the contact and you're like, oh shoot, I really should have them on a different drip. I need to switch that up. You can click on that person and you can either click on what would you like to do and change the status, which takes you over to the profile page here. Or you can just click profile, which is what I normally do. It's the most direct way. You can just click profile here across the top. Scroll down to the third section where it says system info. And this is where you've got all sorts of interesting things like changing up the status, adding in a market report zip code, checking to see if you've got them for texting, auto dial, if they're subscribed or not. But if you want to change that drip campaign, you just assign it right here. Now, it is really, really important to keep in mind that the K+ drip campaigns launch in tandem with the age of the contact. So for instance, if you have a contact that's been in the system 5 days and you change up the drip campaign to something new on day 5, what you have created for day 1, day 3, etc., will not hit that person. It's going to start day 5 going forward due to the age of the contact. Now, if you have any questions anytime, it's important that you chat with support at the bottom right-hand side of your dashboard or email us support@insiderealestate.com. Have a great day.